Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Do want to spend some time on the New Orleans Saints today, as they have made a couple of roster moves, a couple of signings for New Orleans today. And I think you've probably heard of both of the players that they have signed for different reasons. The first is at quarterback, which is always interesting. How impactful is this signing going to be? Time will tell. But the Saints have inked Kellen Mond to a deal, and Kellen Mond is obviously someone that we're very familiar with in this part of the world because he was the quarterback at Texas A&M for 4 years as a starter, and he finished up in 2020 on that team that went to the Orange Bowl and narrowly missed the college football playoff. Beck, I will ask you this trivia question. I have not prepped you for this, and that's probably part of the reason I was going to ask it.
Okay.
Kellen Mond is one of 3 quarterbacks in the history of the Southeastern Conference to throw for 9,000 yards and run for 1,500. Would you like to venture a guess at the other 2 that have done it?
Cam Newton and Tim Tebow.
Cam Newton was only there for 1 year, so was not going to throw for 9,000 yards. Tim Tebow is correct. Yeah. I'll give you a mulligan on Cam Newton.
I just immediately...
You're going to have to think about somebody that played for a while.
Yeah, that's a good point. Ooh, how about,
SEC West.
Okay.
Nothing?
I don't...
It's on the spot. We know.
Yeah,
it can be tough.
Don't have anything for it. Sorry.
Louisiana native. SEC West.
Dak Prescott?
That is Dak Prescott.
Wow. Dak
Prescott, Tim Tebow, and Kellen Mond, the only 3 quarterbacks in SEC history to throw for 9,000 and run for 1,500. Kellen Mond spent his first couple of years in the NFL with the Vikings, was kind of up and down. Kirk Cousins got COVID. They activated him. He ended up throwing 3 passes in a game as the backup, but he's been to Cleveland and with the Colts, was just a practice squad member there. And New Orleans has signed him to a deal. I find myself, I don't know how you, Joe Saints fan, is looking at the Saints quarterback situation, but I find myself kind of passively looking at who might be next. It's why we've entertained the thought process of the Saints taking a flyer on Jordan Travis in the 5th round. Because maybe you strike gold with your Dak Prescott, with your Brock Purdy. Maybe. Maybe not, but maybe. Because I don't think there are a lot of people, maybe some, and that's fine, but I don't think there's a lot of people that think the Saints have the current quarterback. I don't think the Saints currently have the quarterback who is on the next really good Saints team. I don't know that that's Derek Carr. It could be somebody they take in the draft. I don't think it's Kellen Mond either. This is a guy who's been in the NFL now since 2021. We're here in 2024, and he's played in exactly 1 game, and he was only active that day because the starting quarterback had COVID-19. It's fine to bring him in. It's fine to create some competition for your backup quarterback spot to push Jake Haener. But I don't think this is going to be an impactful move on the Saints organization. That probably goes without saying, but quarterback always gets a little more reaction than any other position on the field. And when you had Drew Brees, who cares who you bring in at quarterback? It doesn't really matter. When you have Derek Carr and he's only got 2 years left on his deal, it's reasonable to think, well, can we stash somebody like Jordan Love? Like, is that doable? Mahomes didn't start his first year. Are we close to trying to find the next guy? But Kellen Mond does not fit that. Kellen Mond comes in to participate as potentially your backup quarterback. The Saints have gone high profile with backup quarterbacks over the last few years. Teddy Bridgewater, pretty high profile. He's a former first-round pick. Andy Dalton, pretty high profile. It's a guy who started playoff games. Jameis Winston was a former number 1 pick in the draft. And it looks like the Saints have moved off of that. They're going to use those resources elsewhere, and they're going to bring in Jake Haener in the late rounds of the draft and then go sign Kellen Mond. I'm fine with it, but it's not going to be impactful, I don't think, on the Saints organization. Another sign, though, today that could be impactful on this current Saints team is Equanimeous St. Brown. Of course, his younger brother, Amon-Ra, a star up in Detroit. Equanimeous St. Brown has never been a star in the NFL, but he does bring the Saints a quality they don't necessarily have. Michael Thomas was this, but he moved on, obviously. Equanimeous St. Brown is 6'5", 215 pounds. Chris Olave is not that. Rashid Shaheed is not that. Even A.T. Perry is not that type of receiver. He's more of a speed, big play guy. Equanimeous St. Brown, I think, will make this team and impact this team as a big body wide receiver. They didn't use Jimmy Graham a lot last year. He had a couple of big plays that brought back some memories, but wasn't a huge part of things. Foster Moreau, not a huge piece to the passing game. I like having wide receivers with some different skill sets, with some different traits. It forces the defense to react a few different ways and gives you a little bit more options. You don't want all your wide receivers to be 6'1", 205 with great speed. It's good to have a couple of those guys. I don't want to get rid of Rashid Shaheed. I love Chris Olave. But Equanimeous St. Brown gives you another different option. He hasn't been a huge play guy. He was a 6th-round pick from the Packers in 2018. He played in Green Bay for 3 years. In his best year was his rookie year. He caught 21 balls. And then his first year in Chicago, a few years later, and not exactly great quarterback play up there in Chicago, he caught 21 more. Last year, only 5 catches in 7 games. So again, this is not like bringing in somebody that I think can make the Pro Bowl. But I do think he can make the team. And I think he's a different type of dude on the outside. We know that it was very likely that the Saints are going to add to the wide receiver position in the draft. I don't think it's in the first round, but they're going to do that at some point. This is a little insurance for that. Bring in a guy in the 5th round that we thought we had something, but it turns out in camp, maybe not. Here's your insurance policy. This guy can play in the NFL. Is he going to catch 87 balls for 1,200 yards? He's not. Can he come in there and play on 3rd downs? Can he be a little bit of a mismatch in the red zone on some smaller safeties? He can. Olave, Shaheed, A.T. Perry, those guys are the guys that you're going to count on the most. But I like this signing of Equanimeous St. Brown. And what have I said every time the Saints have brought someone in this offseason? Same song, different verse. 1-year deal. Don't do anything in this spring that compromises the 2025 Saints, the 2026 Saints, the 2027 Saints. Nothing. This doesn't. This could help 2024. It's very, very cheap. It's not going to hinder you from doing anything else. And you're not putting yourself in a position to kick money down the road like the Saints have done over and over again. There's been a little bit of a different approach here. I'm not suggesting the Saints have never signed guys to 1-year deals. Of course, they do that every single year. But they also have a tendency to sign guys to 3-year deals that probably don't merit it. And it gives them that flexibility to move money around and do this whole thing. Stop it. This has nothing to do with that. So for me, 2 signings today, Kellen Mond and Equanimeous St. Brown. Mond, it's interesting because he was a Southeastern Conference quarterback and we know him down in this market, but it's a camp arm. Equanimeous St. Brown, there's a chance. There's some upside there. It's a 28-year-old wide receiver who can help you. But if he doesn't, or you draft someone that's better, no harm done. So I like these moves for New Orleans. Nothing that's crazy, but that's a good thing. Keep it simple over there in New Orleans. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.